She once told me, "Flirting doesn't mean anything." I smiled, not because it was funny, but because that one sentence finally made everything clear. In that moment, I understood who she'd become and what I'd really meant to her all along. There was a time when our marriage didn't need proof or reassurance. Back when trust came naturally and an unanswered text wasn't a reason to doubt. When a look across the room could still make us both smile, like we were each other's favorite person there. But somewhere between late-night meetings and friendly coworkers, something began to decay. It started quietly, a look that lingered too long, a laugh that didn't sound quite real. Then came the phone lighting up at midnight, always turned face down before I could see. "It's nothing," she'd say, and maybe I wanted to believe her, or maybe I was just too tired to fight battles I already knew I'd lose. Then came that night. I arrived early at a restaurant, and before she noticed me, I saw her. Across the room, leaning close to a man I'd heard her mention before. Just a friend from work. Her hand brushed his arm, her eyes lit up with a warmth I hadn't seen in months. My chest tightened, but I didn't interrupt. I just stood there long enough to let the truth settle deep and sharp. When she came home later, she looked startled to find me still awake. "Were you with him?" I asked. She sighed, almost irritated, and said, "It was just flirting. It doesn't mean anything," I smiled. "Neither does our marriage anymore." The silence that followed said more than either of us ever could. She froze, eyes wide as if realizing too late that the foundation beneath her had finally crumbled. I didn't yell. I didn't ask for explanations. I just sat there, calm. Too calm. Because something inside me had already broken long before that night. She tried to take it back, saying I was overreacting, insisting that everyone flirts. But she missed the point. It wasn't about the words or the glances. It was about the slow erosion, the quiet betrayal that chips away at something sacred. Every secret smile, every half-truth, every time she made me question my own instincts, piece by piece, it wore us down until there was nothing left. When I really looked at her that night, I saw a stranger. Two people still pretending to share a life. The laughter, the warmth, gone, replaced by walls built from unspoken resentment. She reached for my hand, but I didn't move. Her touch no longer felt like home. "Don't throw everything away over something so small," she whispered. I wanted to tell her it wasn't small. It was every night I stayed up waiting, every time I doubted myself, every lie disguised as love. It was death by 1,000 cuts. And she just made the last one. I stood, walked past her, and said quietly, "You did that all on your own." That night, I didn't pack my bags or slam the door. I just lay awake, staring at the ceiling until morning light crept in. By then, the decision had already been made. Not out of anger, but out of sheer exhaustion. You can only bleed for so long before the pain goes numb. When she woke, she acted like nothing had happened. Made coffee, asked if I wanted breakfast, as if the words, "It doesn't mean anything," hadn't echoed through the night. I watched her move through the kitchen, the woman I once couldn't imagine living without, and felt nothing but emptiness. I told her I'd be leaving for a while. She didn't argue. Maybe she thought I'd come back once I cooled off. But when the door closed behind me, I knew I wasn't returning. Not to that house, and not to the version of myself that kept forgiving what should never be forgiven. Weeks went by. She called, texted, even showed up once saying she missed me, but it wasn't me she missed. It was the comfort, the routine, the man who made excuses for her choices. I didn't respond. Some endings don't need closure. They just need silence. And looking back, I realized she was right about one thing. Flirting didn't mean anything, not to her, but to me, it meant everything. Because that was the moment I finally saw what I'd been refusing to see all along. Love can't survive where respect has already died.